Hello IOD community, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these super cute and fancy Christmas decorations using the new IOD Les Cloches Mould. You can find any items used today in the description or in the blog post. For any products, visit ironorchiddesigns.com and click the red Where to Buy button in the top right hand corner to find your nearest in-person or online stockist. The first step when using resin in the IOD molds is to use a resin release spray. Today we used the Alumilite resin release spray and it works pretty well. Resin safety is very important when you are working with any kind of resin, so please make sure that you take the time to read through the warning label and wear gloves. Today we are using a clear cast resin compared to a quick cast resin, so be prepared for extra wait time. The wait time is going to be around 24 hours for them to fully set. You are going to see us have 2 of the Les Cloches molds, but if you only have 1, that's totally fine. Just wait for your first set to dry, demold them, and then refill so that you can have your second set. The reason we have 2 of each is because we want to glue them back to back, so it's double-sided. The clear cast resin we used was the Alumilite Clear Cast Plus resin. We had very few bubbles and poured a 1-to-1 ratio, stirred thoroughly, but gently, emphasis on gently, or else you'll create more bubbles, for about 2 minutes before we poured. Allow to set completely. This can be affected by a number of factors, most importantly temperature, so if you have a cold workspace, expect it to take a little bit longer. Once they are fully cured, demold your castings and move to a well-ventilated area. We took ours outside on some grass and we sprayed it with a gloss spray sealer. It takes about 2 coats with 3 minutes in between each coat. Once dry, take the back of your castings for applying the transfers. We are using the Gilded Tinsel Transfers today because we really wanted to highlight how each design is double-sided. So one side is silver and the other side is gold, and you will see us use that with our project and our design later on in this video. For a snowy, wintry look, we did one with snowflakes, one with mistletoe, and then the last one we did with some sweet birds from the Yuletide Transfer set. This one is not a gilded transfer set, so it's not going to be double-sided, but we thought the birds were too cute. We just couldn't pass it up. If you are new to transfers or want to learn some techniques that you might not already know, go ahead and head to the IOD website and click the product drop-downs for a Transfer 101. For the snowflakes, we used a variety of sizes. These would also be so darling with some of the trees from the same set along the bottom. For our birds, we wanted their faces to peep out from behind the birdcage bars, so we cut them in half and we spread them apart just enough so you could see their little beaks almost kissing through the birdcage bar, and we didn't want that part to be covered up. So it's a little technique if in the future, if you ever want to cut out a part from your transfer or create a little illusion like we did here, there is so much freedom with what you can do with these transfers. Once you are satisfied with your transfers, it's time to glue them together. There are probably other glues that would work just fine, but we went with a UV resin glue for a speedy adhesion. Please note, if you are making your cloches into ornaments, this would be the best time to add your hangers. We use jewelry bales for this as they are flat and will allow the cloches to meet up evenly. To avoid any glue obscuring your transfers, we placed the glue solely on the parts we intended to paint, making sure to leave the clear glass parts free from glue, because it will look a little bit cloudy if you accidentally get the UV resin in the clear parts. Make sure you line up your castings as carefully as you can and either use the UV pen that came with your UV resin kit, or if you have a UV lamp handy, you can use that as well for a hands-free cure time. We only needed 60 seconds for the UV resin glue to fully harden. We have been hearing a lot of discussion in the IOD Facebook tribe about different kinds of resins and different resin techniques that you can use with the IOD molds. So Sarah began researching and testing different techniques with different brands and different kinds of resin, and she shared her research with me and the different outcomes, and we both decided that the Alumilite clear cast resin, which is what we are using in this video, is what worked best for us and with the IOD Les Cloches Mould. So if you have a different technique, different brand that works best for you, of course, do what is best for you. But since there's so much discussion out there about the best resin, we figured this video would come out perfect timing to answer all your questions. Once both sides are glued, you can really see the magic of how each side is a different color. One is silver, one is gold. And so with that, it inspired us to come up with the idea of painting depending on what color is the transfer. So one side will be gold, one side will be silver. Although, since the birdcage transfer is just one-sided, we painted both sides gold since we thought it matched the transfer the best. Personally, my favorite side is the silver side. This is mainly because Sarah and I work with the gold paint so often and it's gorgeous, but this project was actually the first time we tried out the silver paint and I fell in love with it. I love the way it matches with the gilded tinsel snowflakes, and it's so shiny and it's so Christmassy, and I just love the winter theme of it all. I will point out that painting at the end does take a little bit of patience. There are so many fine details and you don't want to miss any of the details. So it did take me a little longer than I thought it would, but not tedious. But I love painting, so it's very therapeutic, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree, so it's totally worth it. Once the paint dries, you're done. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope this project inspired you to make something beautiful that you can be proud of. Share your creations with us over in the Facebook Creative Tribe. We can't wait to see you there, and we hope to see you soon for our next tutorial.